106 Chibok and 104 Depchi girls, and over 16,000 other persons held by Boko Haram. In order to minimize the impact of the insurgency on internally displaced persons, government has established secure IDP camps and has improved the mechanism for the distribution of basic aid, foods, and essential commodities using various strategies in collaboration with local and international organizations. Efforts are in process for resettlement of IDPs in their home communities by providing schools, hospitals, clinics, water, and sanitation to facilitate a quick return to economic activities. Government is similarly implementing de-radicalization and rehabilitation programs to facilitate sustainable peace and development. The unfortunate incidences of kidnappings, herdsmen and farmers' clashes in several communities, which have led to a high number of fatalities and loss of properties across the country, is being addressed, and the identified culprits and their sponsors shall be made to face the full wrath of the law. All the three tiers of government are presently engaged with communities and religious organizations to restore peaceful coexistence among Nigerians. I want to commend members of the multinational joint task force drawn from Niger, Benin, Chad, Cameroon, and our own country in collaboration with the international community who are assisting in the fight against insurgency in the northeast. I also commend the gallantry of members of our armed forces and other security agencies that have continued to provide security for lives and properties across the country. State and local traditional authorities are helping with much needed intelligence in this fight against insurgency. This administration is pained over the grievous loss of lives and properties occasioned by the carnage of insurgency and other forms of criminality in the country. I wish to assure Nigerians that we will not rest until all criminal elements and their sponsors are brought to justice. Government is boosting the capacity of our security agencies through recruitment of more personnel, training and procurement of modern equipment, enhancement of intelligence gathering, as well as boosting their morale in the face of daunting challenges. The Niger
President Muhammad Buhari has fulfilled all his campaign promises with unprecedented accomplishment within 3 years of his administration. Mohammed disclosed this in Lagos, said, contrary to critics who claim the government has nothing to show for its 3 years of existence, the Buhari administration has performed beyond expectations. He also said the administration has kept its social contract with citizens by delivering on its campaign promises. Former Vice President of Nigeria Atiku Abubakar has appointed former Ogun State Governor Benga Daniel as the Director General DG of his campaign. In a statement released recently, the former VP charged Daniel with the responsibility of running his campaign while he focuses on nationwide campaign. Abubakar expressed confidence in Daniel's ability to ensuring victory at the polls. You will recall that Daniel served as governor of Ogun State from 2003 to 2011 after defeating an incumbent Olusegun Oshoba. Senator representing Kaduna Central Zone, Shehu Sani has announced his intention to contest against Governor Nasir El-Rufai in 2019. The lawmaker disclosed this to journalists, also condemned the outcome of the local government election in Kaduna. He said it is very clear that the results of the recently conducted local council elections in Kaduna State did not reflect what happened. Sani, however, warned that the attacks and killings by Boko Haram insurgents and the Fulani herdsmen will affect the political fortune of APC during the presidential and governorship elections in many states. Muslims faithful have been urged to show love and unity by accommodating all their religion around them. This advice was given at a Ramadan lecture organized in Lagos. The Nigerian Muslims were urged to pray for the peace and unity of Nigeria. Details in this report.
Thousands of Muslim faithful converged here on Lagos for the annual Ramadan lecture. Here, the Islamic cleric taught them the significance and all that is required of them as Muslims to observe during the holy month of fasting. At the lecture, Muslim faithful were urged to continue to promote peace, love, and unity in the country.
The Muslim faithful, you just have to have the fear of God. If you have the fear of God, you love your neighbor. Definitely. You will not want anything bad to happen to your neighbor. Pray during the month of Ramadan. Pray for yourself, pray for your nation, pray for everybody around you. And I can assure you, we have a better society.
There is no difference between Muslim and Christian. We are all one. We are serving one God. So there should not be any discrimination. Whether you are a Muslim or you are a Christian, we are all one. We should remain one. Wherever we are, wherever we meet ourselves, wherever we gather, we are calling one God. So if a Muslim is celebrating, we should be there to celebrate with them. If Christians are celebrating, they should come and celebrate with us. So next time when I'm celebrating my own Christmas, I am going to call everyone. I will invite almost everyone there, Salvador, to come and celebrate with me.
After the lecture, a bag containing food items and clothes were given to the attendees. Moshood Salvador, who is also the organizer of the lecture, speaks on the rationale behind giving and his personal motivation and commitment to Zakat.
I started in Owoduni when I was very much after the death of my father. My father usually take the Wasi from Mubali Gudin and Nadekule Mosque in Owoyokun. Immediately he died, I took it up and I started with about 20 people to give the clothes, their needs and everything, and that is how the thing started to grow and become this big. Today we have recorded more than 5,500 people. If you go to where the wealthy people sit and you start to give them this, they can even kick it with their legs. It is only people that needs it you provide for them.
Massive crowd here, all struggling to get their own bag of goodies. But of course, if Muslim politicians can also emulate such virtue, then I believe we wouldn't have this kind of crowd at a lecture like this. Well, one can only hope that Nigeria will get better someday. We're from the lecture venue. Madenika Weya Jiboye reporting for Superscreen News.
A former Minister of State for Finance, Bashir Yuguda, former Governor of Zamfara State, Aliyu Shinkafi, and 2 others have been arraigned before a federal high court seat in Zamfara State. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, is prosecuting Yuguda and his accomplice on a 5-count charge of conspiracy and money laundering. Others charged before the federal high court are Aminu Ahmed Nanche and Ibrahim Malaha. EFCC spokesperson Winston Wanjare also disclosed this in a statement recently, accused them of allegedly receiving 450 million naira money from a former Minister of Petroleum Resources, Dezani Alison Madueke, According to Wan Jarin, the money was meant to influence the outcome of the 2015 general elections. In a ruling, the trial judge, Justice Motala, granted the defendant bail in the 5 million naira each, with 2 sureties in like sum. A federal high court has adjourned the trial of a former chief of air staff, Adeshola Amosun, to June 13 and 14 following the absence of his lawyer, Bolaji Ayorinde, in court. Amosun is facing charges bordering on conspiracy, stealing and money laundering. He is being tried alongside 2 other officers of the Air Force, Job Adigun and Gbadebo Olagbenga, for alleged 3.6 billion naira fraud. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, had arraigned the defendant before Justice Mohammed Idris on June 26, 2016, and they are all pleaded not guilty to the charges. Coalition of civil society organizations on human rights and conflict resolution in Nigeria has faulted Amnesty International report accusing the Nigerian military of human rights violations. The group had reported how the Nigerian Army and Civilian Joint Task Force separated women from their husbands and confined them in a remote settlement camps where they have been raped, sometimes exchanged for food. The reports.
Reacting to the reports at a conference in Abuja, Executive Director of the group, Maxwell Gowon, said the legitimate operations of the military is constantly hampered by the Amnesty International misleading reports, which he said has great consequences for the overall security architecture of Nigeria. Gowon also accused individuals in political terrain of providing local funding to supplement the foreign clients of Amnesty International with a view to impacting 2019 general elections.
We are calling on them to be more professional in carrying out responsibilities and to look into the sovereignty of the nations they are operating. And the civilian population in the Northeast is what we are more concerned about, because for some of us that have been to Northeast and most of the states affected by this insurgency, you will actually know that, yes, you expect to see that at least there are areas that human rights violation will be tempered with. So we are looking to see that Amnesty is being decent, is being proactive and reason within the context of the role.
On his part, National Coordinator, League of Students, Obende Gideon, said Amnesty International's report was mainly a compilation of unsubstantiated allegations, adding that the professional manner in which the military handled the war against terrorism in the country is commendable.
We believe that if accusations have been made, the military should be called to question. And if the military does not take decisive action, then you can hold them to question. We're publishing this report without engaging the relevant authorities. I believe it is even better.
The report had sparked controversy, with many Nigerians calling for the head of the international agency.
2 female suicide bombers suspected to be Boko Haram members have killed at least 3 people in Mashamari area of Konduga, Borno State. The bombers reportedly detonated their explosive inside a house and near a mosque in Mashamari area of Konduga on Sunday night. Chief Security Officer of Borno State Emergency Management Agency, SEMA, Bello Dambata, said 3 people were killed in the 2 attacks and 7 others were injured. Dambata said one of the bombers detonated near a mosque while residents were preparing for the evening prayers. A moment later, the second one detonated inside a house. The Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, has commenced the process of recruitment as approved by the federal government by opening its portal to receive applications from suitable qualified candidates for employment into the various cadres of the Corps. The Corps Public Education Officer BC Kazim said for the officers' cadre, candidates are expected to possess a first degree from recognized institutions, NYSC discharge certificate, and must not be more than 30 years of age. He said requirements for MI2 are Nigerian Certificate for Education, registered nurse, or registered midwife. You're watching Superscreen News R10. We'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll bring you business news. Stay with us. Glad to have you back, and now to the world of business. The Arewa Consultative Forum, ACF, has called on the federal government to probe the alleged mismanagement of $16 billion invested in the power sector between 1999 and 1998. In a statement issued by its National Publicity Secretary, Mohammed Ibrahim, ACF said the call for probe of the power sector has become necessary considering the harm which corruption has inflicted on the nation and the promise by the current government to fight it. Ibrahim said public officials, no matter how highly placed, must account for the malfeasance while in office. He also said the probe will serve as a deterrent to others and instill prudence in managing the public office for performance. The convener, Red Card Movement, Obi Ezekwesili, has criticized the federal government for failing to come up with the right economic policy that plunged Nigeria into recession in 2014. Ezekwesili disclosed these to journalists in Abuja, the nation's capital. Ezekwesili, who is also a former vice president of World Bank and a former minister of education, said Nigeria did not act fast like some other oil-producing countries. The former education minister said that although the recession era is over, its effect is still being felt by the citizenry. She also advised the federal government to initiate good economic policy that would attract investors into the country. And still on business, the organized labor has faulted the federal government for refusing to reconstitute the board of the National Pension Commission, almost 2 years after the government sacked the former board. Speaking in Lagos through a member of the National Executive Council, NEC, of the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, Isa Aremu, Labour said the non-constitution of the board of PENCOM is completely unacceptable. Labour is also said that the non-constitution of the board is a threat to the over 7 trillion accumulated pension assets and the future of the contributory pension scheme. If you're just joining us, this is Superscreen News R10. We'll take another short break and we'll bring you other news. Join us again.